All right, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of the Multiverse Book Club. Guys, we're so glad that you can take a time out of your Saturday to join us here. As many of you guys know, the first book we're going to be reading is Dungeon Crawler Carl. We're going to be discussing the first 150 pages. So if you guys aren't up to the first 150 pages, just beware because we are going to have spoilers in this live stream. But most of you guys know entering the dungeon's a scary place. There's a lot going on, so you're going to want to enter with friends. And that's why I have the best people joining with me on this panel. None other than Random Reads Kevin.
Hey, everybody.
How you doing? Kevin, it's still a scary dungeon,
Yeah.
So I think we can bulk up our party a little bit more. This guy reminds me the most of Princess Donut, I would say. Let's welcome Easy Comic Reader. Mike, what's going on?
Hey, Mike.
How's everybody doing?
Thanks for being the guest on our panel tonight.
You're very welcome. I'm getting a delay.
Yeah, it's been a really good read so far.
Yeah.
I'm really glad we chose this book.
I'm having a really fun time with it. It's more than I expected it to be. I mean, I feel like there is like this underlining story.
Uh-oh.
Oh, we lost him.
We lost Mike. He'll be back.
That's what happens. The rats, you think they're weak, and then that's it. They get you.
It's a level 3 rat you thought was a level 1.
Exactly.
So, how is it reading a book with stats and game jargon scattered about it?
I didn't think I would enjoy that. I actually thought that would separate the story a little too much for me.
Yeah.
But now I look forward to the stats.
I do too.
It's like when they get the achievements, I was like, oh, I'll probably just skim over the achievement. I'm not going to read every achievement, but they're
read them because they're hilarious.
They're great. They're so funny.
Reminds me of footnotes, kind of. It almost could be a footnote to the story. It's like pausing for that footnote, that little jump.
I absolutely agree. So, all right, we'll start at the beginning. All right. Guy breaks up with his girlfriend.
The cleric has raised him from the dead.
We're back.
Sorry about that, fellas. I was getting a weird feedback, so
you're fine. Listen, you had a health potion on you, so yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
You're regenerated. You're fine.
All right.
So we're going to start from the beginning, pretty much. I think we'll just start from the beginning and work our way to page 150. So I guess we'll start. What do you guys think of Carl, first and foremost?
Kevin, you want to go first?
You go ahead.
Well, Carl, right off the bat, man, just kind of just his everyday guy. He's stuck babysitting this cat that while his girlfriend is off, we'll find out later, right?
Yeah.
She's possibly doing things like that, but yeah, there you go. The dog don't like the cat either. But no, I mean, he's got what it takes so far in my opinion, right? To have that intuition to get where he needs to get, do what he needs to do, things like that. So I'll leave it at that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What do you think, Carl?
I wasn't that impressed with Carl at first.
I agree with that. Sorry, good.
But as it went on, he's grown on me. It's obvious he has a certain street sense about him.
Yeah, I think it's in the beginning.
Not the smartest guy in the world, but that's okay. Princess Donut's got the brains.
Yeah. So that's the dynamic duo there with
hilarious.
The cat.
And the cat definitely acts like a cat would act.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And what about you, Ian?
I agree. I didn't like him in the beginning. I was more intrigued by the aliens.
Yeah.
In the beginning, my only letdown was I thought we would see a little bit more of them and they would reveal themselves a little bit more.
Yeah.
I liked the idea. I mean, we're skipping ahead a little bit now that Earth was raised as a game show.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, the fact that we're like everyone goes, "Oh, what's the meaning of life? Why are we here?" You're here just to partake in someone else's entertainment, and I thought that was really creative.
Yeah.
But as far as Carl goes, I think he's butthurt. I think he's butthurt about his breakup. My prediction is we're going to see B. I think she's going to come out.
So too.
Yeah.
She'll end up being alive.
Yeah. I don't know if it's going to be in this one or the second one.
Right. And I wonder about how the books go. You know, I haven't looked into or read. Are they farther levels down, or
I have no idea. I haven't
dungeon and save, himself.
Yeah.
Or what?
Definitely.
But I guess we'll find that out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, physical characteristics of Carl. We're going to stay on Carl. You know, he's got the physical characteristics to be a survivor, first of all.
Yeah.
He's 6'3". He's described as 6'3". He's got some combat training.
Right.
So he's perfect to jump into this world. And how fortunate that he does have Princess Donut to have that intellect to kind of, well, more so her charisma. I wouldn't say so far. I haven't seen a lot of her intellect, but her charisma is definitely.
I haven't seen evidence of her intellect so much.
Yeah.
Because it's supposed to be really high, 11 or 12 or something.
Yeah, at the point where we're at, she's up there, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But I would say her strong suit has been charisma so far.
Definitely. I like Princess Donut a lot. I didn't see reading it because I really tried not to spoil anything for myself. I didn't realize I knew the cat was a character, but I didn't know the cat was going to be animated.
A talking character that interacts.
Exactly. And I think
I kind of saw the talking cat part coming. As soon as magic, as soon as he realized that he wasn't the same him, that he could heal, that this stuff was happening like in a game, I was like, yeah, the cat's going to be talking. I can see that coming. And sure enough, it was right then,
But I think that's what's one of the fascinating things about this book so far, to the point we're at, is anything and everything can happen.
Yeah.
Right? A talking cat. These just monsters that are kind of, in my opinion, normal so far, but I can only imagine as we go deeper into the levels, what are we going to see? And the mixture of our world as it exists, along with whatever these aliens can conjure up, that's going to be fascinating going down the line here.
And all the people being people from past worlds that they've done the same thing to, all the characters that you meet, the NPCs, I guess you would call them.
Right.
I feel like that ties us into my favorite characters so far in the story, and that's got to be Mordecai.
Yeah, Mordecai is.
It's almost like the
really interesting what he has to tell them.
Yeah.
Like it seems to me that if you choose to step out of the dungeon, if you take their offer, he said don't do it before level 11 or 10, meaning like Carl realized that means it's better to die than to accept their offer before that point.
Yeah.
And so what is the offer before that point? To be a boss, like some of the twisted, screwed up bosses they've had to fight that it realized were people.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's one of the cool aspects of this book, is that it gives you these little touch points to where Mordecai, they'll give you like what we understand, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Shredder.
Yeah, yeah.
Give these little things for the reader just to not have to question or ponder too much, and that's what makes the story enjoyable to this point.
Yeah.
You can go through it and just get everything so far.
Yeah,
Right.
it reads extremely fast. For
Yes,
something
yeah,
of such a complex topic of an alien invasion, a dungeon popping up on Earth, fighting monsters, like in a weird way, we all know what it's about, but to put it all together and have
Yeah.
it
yeah,
read so simply, I think that's
yes,
the best charm of this book.
Right.
yeah,
Just
It's
the
it reads
writing.
fast. It's simple. It's not too deep to think about.
Yeah,
Like
just
a lot
fun.
of books get. You
Yeah,
sit there laying in bed wondering having to think over what you've read. This is
yeah,
pretty straightforward, but
yeah,
it's fun and it does make you think about how it works.
yeah. And I'm coming from, I'm not a gamer. I
Right.
am not a tabletop player, but I could still pick up everything.
See,
I thought
that's cool.
that might hinder me at the beginning. I thought I was going to have to know certain, but that's what makes this book great. It invites literally anyone and everyone that has some sort of pop culture background to just jump in and start
Yeah.
falling in love with these characters. Well, for Princess Donut and
Right.
Mordecai, right?
absolutely.
We pull for them immediately.
Yeah.
I agree. All right, so let's see here. Oh, we got a lot of people in the chat.
Hi, everybody in the chat.
Hey, everybody. Yeah,
Free indeed. Thanks so much for joining us, Matt. Heroes for Hire. We
Hey,
appreciate you being here. Sandman, what's up? We got Paul. What's up, man? On page 163, chapter 21. See, it's a good book. It's a good
nice.
book.
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
He's a
Paul.
guy.
Hopefully, Paul can join us next week, and he'll.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, guys. Anyone who's currently reading the book, and you want to join us, please. We'd love to have you. Open panel. Just the book's a good time. We just good vibes, hanging out, talking. Nothing too serious.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Princess Donut is the star of the book.
Princess Donut really is.
So being more in tune with the gaming and tabletoping, what do you guys see as far as like what makes this book a really strong connection for people that are familiar with that, just
Yeah,
as it is for somebody like me that's not?
Well, that's yeah. Being that I've played Dungeons and Dragons so long,
Mhm.
uh, World of Warcraft,
Mhm.
you can see all the parallels, and obviously the author has played games like that
Yeah.
and is pulling from some of those experiences.
I definitely feel the World of Warcraft love in there. Maybe a little
Yeah, for
Skyrim.
sure. Especially with the goblins and the steam engine. The motorcycle thing that they made for him is straight out of World of Warcraft.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
had that motorcycle.
Yeah, those are things that I was thinking that these have to be related to something. And
Yeah.
I guess before we get too far, do we want to tell our audience a little bit of breakdown of what are we looking at here? 'Cause it is a great book, everybody.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. So you want just like a synopsis, pretty
Yeah,
much?
Yeah.
yeah, I
Okay.
think we should do that.
So guy wakes up, cat's jumping out the window, going crazy. He like love hates this cat. It's a love hate relationship.
Yeah,
It's his ex girlfriend's cat, so he enjoys the cat, but every time he looks at it, just reminds him of his ex. And
yeah,
he goes outside to get this cat out of the tree, screaming. It's freezing cold. He's in his boxers. He couldn't even find his shoes, so he shoved his feet into his ex girlfriend's Crocs that she left. Really describing what Carl's wearing, and just like pretty much like a Thanos snap.
yeah,
Uh, Everything you ever knew, gone. Anyone who was in a building evaporated. And they described it almost as you can stare out miles ahead of you because there's now nothing. And the crazy part is, we didn't even touch on this part. The way that the aliens communicate with you is through your mind.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they talk to you through your head. You can see text in front of your eyes, almost like you're wearing an Oculus Rift or one of those like gaming headsets. And they promise him that if he makes it through this dungeon, he can have his planet back. And they're
Mm-hmm.
going to mine it for its resources. And yeah, anything you guys want to add? Pretty much, I'm just running off the top of my head.
There's 150,000 entrances.
Yeah, 150,000 entrances to the
What was
first
it, like
floor of the
10
entrance.
million people went in an entrance to start with,
Mm-hmm.
and over half of them were dead within the first
Yeah, more
hour.
than that. Yeah,
And I'd like to maybe just a little bit of, from what I read, clarify. If you were in a building at this time, the building's collapsed,
correct.
They just
right? So if you were outside, then you heard the announcement, you saw this text, you heard this, and it directed you. It said, if you want to tough it out here, by all means, go for it.
Oh
But
yeah,
we're going to open up these entrances, and you're going to join us in these dungeons, and you have to make that split second decision in a sense to get down there. So,
yeah.
yeah. And at one point, does anybody remember 10 million or maybe more initially entered through all these entry points throughout the world into this dungeon or into the, I guess, into the earth?
Yeah.
And as the time goes on, it collapses, correct?
yeah,
Right?
the first
Things
level of
collapse.
collapse.
So
That'd be
you're
in
forced to
5
keep
days.
going deeper. Yeah.
Correct.
I
And they
love
said,
it.
yeah, the dungeons are supposed to be the size of Earth, but the first floor was the size of the city
Right.
that he was in.
Yeah,
So I'm assuming from the way that described it, I mean, it didn't get too in detail. Are there multiple floor ones
Yeah.
around the world um, from every city? I don't know about that, but yeah. So let's see here. I have a couple questions.
Oh, okay.
What do you guys
Yeah.
feel about the blend of the fantasy and technology? How does this impact the story for you? And do you feel like it works?
Well, I definitely feel like it works. Again, like I said, it's really a whole new thing for me. My only previous was playing Dungeons and Dragons for maybe one or two campaigns previously.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and you stick more or less to the traditional setting, but now you can incorporate literally anything and everything that our world has to offer, and things from across the world. Because as we
yeah.
go through these levels and things, the characters are learning about other characters from different
There's
parts of the world.
planets
Absolutely.
Yeah,
too.
so I
I,
love
I
it.
know, Mike, you're
Like
not.
Mordecai's obviously an alien.
That has
Yeah,
gone through transformations over his time there.
yeah.
So how long are they stuck in this thing?
Right.
Is
He
it
said, I
really
remember there was something that like this is his last go around or something. That like after this,
Yeah.
he's free.
right?
Yeah.
But are
Um,
you really?
but he seemed also really depressed. Like remember when there was a scene
Yes.
where Princess Donut knocks over the vase containing his brother's ashes.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming. I mean, we don't know. Maybe his brother went with him. Maybe he never got out.
Was
But
it his brother? I thought it was his mother.
It was his
mother.
mother's ashes, I believe.
Oh, his
Yes.
mother's death. I apologize. I thought it was his mother.
Yeah.
What do you
But
have a
but
picture of? A picture
but
was
he wasn't always in this form that we currently know him as now.
Right.
He's let us know that he was a bird at some
Yeah, it
point.
was like a hawk,
Bird.
almost like Hawkman, but like fully bird. Yeah, from his planet.
Right.
But yeah, like you mentioned the mix of science and fantasy, and I mean, yeah, I mean, really, it's more science fiction,
Yeah,
just
it's.
fantasy elements.
I agree. I agree. It's
Yeah,
a science fiction book with Let's be
yeah,
perfectly real. Absolutely.
So just to go back to Carl for everybody that's watching, our hero is like Ian said, he's outside because the cat jumped out of the window because he decided to smoke a cigarette and he opened the
Yeah.
window And he says, this cat never jumps out the window. Every time I open that window to smoke, this cat never goes out, but tonight she did. And
Saved
she
his life.
jumped out into a tree. So he's outside, but all he's wearing are the Crocs that Ian mentioned, some boxers, and a leather jacket.
Yep.
And and that's how he's clothed as he enters this dungeon.
Yeah.
And he has to do battle. So guys out there, guys and gals out there, could you do some serious battle with pink Crocs
Yep.
and your boxers on?
Right.
The ongoing joke is he can't find pants and he can't find shoes, and
Yeah.
the aliens or who's ever watching has
Yeah.
some sort of foot fetish because
Yeah.
his most powerful thing is crushing bugs and stuff with his feet.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he can never find any sort of socks, shoes, or anything.
All this other stuff, but nothing that actually.
Yeah, and every time he keeps wanting to cover his feet, Princess Donut wants to be famous and this. He's like, no, you can't. This
Yeah.
is that's your best attribute.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Princess Donut real quick, or let's get into her, man. You want to give us the background on Princess Donut?
Okay, so Princess Donut, as we said, ex-girlfriend's cat, goes into this dungeon with him. Now, I know, Mike, you're not too familiar because you're not that big of a gamer, but a huge part of this book is the achievements.
Yes. Okay.
And that in gaming, that's a huge thing. So when games release, they have a certain amount of achievements that the developers make, and people spend a lot of time. They're called achievement hunters, trying to complete each and every one. And sometimes you know what they are, sometimes you don't. Sometimes they're just hidden in the game, and you unlocked one, and then someone goes, "Oh my god, that exists," and they try to go get one for themselves. So he's the first person to walk into the dungeon because he decides he's not going to wait it out, just to die. He's going to go into this dungeon because he's freezing, and he's the first person to walk in with a pet. So he receives the legendary pet loot box from an achievement. And then eventually he gets into the guild room where everything's explained to him. We introduce Mordecai. He's kind of like the NPC that explains where he is, what's going on, lays the law of the land. And Princess Donut goes from an everyday cat to she's alive, and acts like a princess. She was an award-winning cat. She competed in competitions. And she's pompous, she's cocky, she's full of herself, and it's really not so much Carl and the cat; it's really more the cat and Carl.
Carl's the bodyguard.
Yeah, Carl's the bodyguard to the cat.
Part of Princess Donut's royal court, right?
Yeah.
As she has made it known.
Until he threatens to leave.
Oh yeah, that's a good point right there, Kevin. I like that.
Yeah,
and that was a touching little scene there.
Yeah,
absolutely. But it sounded like in the beginning. When the cat didn't love Carl, but they started to bond a little bit. She started to watch what he watches on TV. It kind of became a little bit inseparable.
Yeah, because now at a certain point, she's no longer like we're saying. She's no longer a cat. She's full blown character, and you kind of stop reading her as just a cat.
Yeah,
she's got her own personality, and like what Kevin mentioned a while ago, the moment that Carl says, "I guess we need to split our ways," blah blah blah. After he's reintroduced to this cat, and she's very arrogant, right? She's very bossy. She's very pushy. That little touching moment where she's like, "No, don't leave me," right?
Yeah.
She's this big tough cat, but no, don't leave me. And that's where you start again. Your little
she tells about Joey sitting in your lap watching you die on Call of Duty over and over. As much as I like to go into those cat shows and winning those competitions.
And it's through.
She doesn't like to get into the action too much.
Yeah.
There was that boss battle scene where she was doing the magic missile from afar. And Carl's like, "Get in here."
Of
She
course,
was like,
that's like
"Nope."
a typical wizard in Dungeons and Dragons anyway. Or
Yeah.
accuser of any type. No, don't get near me.
And it's through Princess Donut, the cat, that Carl is finding out about his girlfriend's or ex-girlfriend's
Oh yeah,
other extracurricular activities, if you will.
right?
Yes. Yes.
At one point, yeah, I can't believe she's dating you and two other guys. He's like, what?
Yeah.
Two other guys? What are you talking about?
Right.
So
I think my favorite Princess Donut scene though is the way she just walks up to the goblins.
Yeah.
oh
Start talking to him.
Yeah, Carl. So there's a scene where basically Carl has this tattoo so he can get past the goblins and they won't attack him, and it's a big deal. He has this tattoo or this mark, and walks up to them, and he's like planning in his head what is he gonna do, and Princess Donut goes, "Well, I'm a princess. I mean, I'm royalty. Anything I say, they're gonna just respect me."
yeah.
But there's something. See, I think this is going to play a bigger role. She took in what Mordecai said, if you guys remember, that you can kind of tell the NPCs what to do as long as
Right.
they're not a certain level. You can kind of just command them.
Right.
So that's where we get them to build the motorcycle and everything, like Kevin said from World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's so cool. With each encounter with an enemy or a combatant, their victories gain them their new upgrades, and they're leveling up in a sense. And so her Princess Donut's charisma is just getting more and more and more. And that encounter with the with the lady goblins,
Right.
Oh yeah.
Come here, girl, let me talk to you, sort of way.
Yeah.
And then those
Start crying and
they give up some of their goods, and then the double cross. Don't forget about the double cross with
Of
the
course.
goblin. Oh my god,
Of
that was. So speaking on that, you know, I want to take it back a little bit to their encounter with the hoarder, right?
Yes.
And our characters are finding out that, okay, if I do battle with this level, I'm going to get this many achievement points, and so on and so on. So when they encountered the hoarder, um, some of those were written in Spanish, what the hoarder was saying, and there wasn't really a translation.
That's true.
So as I read it, I was like, oh my god, this enemy or this thing that they're up against is not an attacker. She's not an evil toward a character. She's being tormented because of her situation, and
right.
she was pretty much begging them to just kill her.
End it. Yeah.
Yeah. So if y'all caught on that, and at that point, that's when the book stopped being just this sort of fast pace, like um, go 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 go. It hit for me right there. I had to stop after that chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to think about the morality behind that.
Because immediately after that scene, we get our game show announcer or this voice that comes in their heads, and very sarcastic. I don't know how you guys would describe our game show announcer.
That's how I read it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like we're inferior to them.
Right. Yeah. Like, well done, you assholes. You just killed, but hey, you're moving up in the world, sort of like attitude. So I had to kind of pause and like, wow, the author is hitting us with this real quick jab of reality or this morality that we need to see as a reader, and then following up really quick with some just really fun comedy. I mean, I laughed my butt off as I was also.
Yeah. It's true. I hope we see some more of that in the book. That kind of, live or die kind of situation. That's pretty much what they were in. It's funny, as we're talking about this, the book reads so quick. It's so lighthearted, but so many things have happened along the way that you're like, oh my god, yeah, it's true that happened. Like,
especially when they get with when we get to the goblins, and when they defeat the big, I forgot what they called the main goblin. It's not the neighborhood boss or something.
Yeah.
But anyway,
boss.
they, as Carl's after they swindled the goblins, after they get what they
Yeah.
want from the goblins, they give the goblins some meth.
Meth.
And the
Well,
goblin's like, hey, this is not from the top, meaning our world.
drug
This
dealing
Yeah.
is
llamas.
made. So where did you get it? And part of the deal of getting this bike or motorcycle from the goblins, they give up where they got it from, right? And so the goblins go off like, God damn it, I knew they were holding out on us, which were the llamas. Okay, people, if you haven't read the book, yes, they're llamas,
Yeah.
drug dealing llamas, and so
Of
they
course.
go, we're gonna go get them, but when they go and kill the main goblin who's in a separate room, and Carl is putting this together, this massive bomb
Yeah.
from their stash, the part where the babies comes in. Again, that was another one of those quick jabs where you're like, oof, that's yeah.
Yeah.
And then the jerk game show announcer, oh, don't worry, the babies that you killed, don't worry, they're gonna be fine, blah blah blah.
Oh
No,
yeah.
they're not, asshole. You killed them. You
Just
killed the
like
baby. And you're left with like, wow, okay, okay.
wow.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
What
They're
dirt?
basic. You have to remember. Sometimes I forget while you're reading it, and I feel like the author does this purposely. You
Yeah.
forget it's a game show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so much like this, like everything you knew was gone, and it's a life or death situation. But it's a life or death situation for other people's entertainment.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And he only mentions that. I mean, he mentions it obviously, but it's reminded at the perfect time that you're like, wow, this is there's stats, there's people, you
Yeah.
know. So it's written very well. Very, you could tell that this guy really took his time and formulated his story before he sat down to kind of put it on paper.
Yeah.
But what do you
Yep.
guys think about one of the things that I was interested in when Mordecai kind of said that they've been here for years,
Yeah.
learning about us,
Yeah.
watching. I think he said that, if I remember correctly, since like the 40s or something that they were here,
Right.
and
I believe Mordecai was referring. Well, let's get to the chat real quick. I see Matthew
oh
says, don't leave us." And so what we got over here, free indeed. Hi, free indeed. But yeah, so Mordecai lets us know that they've been preparing for this Earth invasion
yeah,
for centuries. Well, I don't know if it's centuries or decades. I think it was
yeah,
more decades. And so they've been learning the culture, they've been learning the customs, they've been learning all the pop culture, which
Yeah.
is fascinating to me. So they could be prepared because Mordecai is a guide in our story. He's not a combatant. He's there to he's there as a mentor figure, right? In any great adventure story, our hero must have the initial contact with a mentor to guide them, to give them the just enough to get through. So
yeah.
yeah,
He's almost like he almost plays the role of like a manager. Like he's there. He's really there for the company. He wants you to do well as well as you possibly can do. But
Right.
in reality, he's there to support the company. It's not really with your true best intent to
uh,
100%. You
yeah.
know, Free and D just said you guys just pushed this book to the top of my TBR list. Yeah, I'm really glad that we were able to do that.
Thank
You
you,
won't be
Freddie.
disappointed. You will not be disappointed.
Yeah.
No,
It's a fun
What's up,
read.
Henry?
Yeah.
Yeah, Matt, it sounds like you need to read this book. I would definitely check it out.
Yeah. There's some hints at something I noticed in there as Carl's progressing. He's becoming more desensitized to what's going on around him.
hmm
They talk about people being desensitized by violent video games, but I would imagine if it was really happening to you like it is to him,
hmm
then you would certainly have to a little bit, yeah, separate yourself from what you're doing, especially when he realizes that he's killing other people.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is also I think the way they're describing it is there can only be one last standing person.
Yeah, that's what I'm. And there's some bosses that you can only beat if you team up.
Yeah.
If you group up as a party, just like in World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
But is it really going to come down to there can be only one?
It's true.
Yeah, I'm seeing some parallels to Walking Dead in a sense.
Yeah.
So when we're introduced to what was that character's name that killed the other human, the other, I guess, player in the game.
Negan, you mean?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but the character I forgot his name, but right there I said, okay, I see Walking Dead a little bit because not only do they have to face these monsters, these creations,
Right.
they're
Yeah.
battling anything from oversized rats and cockroaches to these drug dealing llamas and orcs and things. But now there's this element of another person that finds himself in this situation, is going through the same exercises and same challenges as they are, but this person is now killing other people.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Right. So I
You're
was
right.
like, wow,
It
now you got
plays
to
in.
worry.
Okay, sorry.
No, that's what I was going to say. You just have to worry about that as a character now.
Yeah, it plays into that Walking Dead feel almost because when you see a person, you got to think: is this someone that's going to be able to work with me, or is this someone that's going to want to steal what I have and
Yeah,
everything
exactly.
I've worked for?
Yeah.
So everyone, including other humans, who you're like, oh my god, we're in the same situation. Now it's pretty much like you're a threat.
Yeah.
I didn't see the dedication that cheap comic collector says. Oops, here we go. I forget I can do
Oh, okay.
this.
The names in your mom.
Your mom.
I didn't read that one either. Yeah, but as I'm reading, I'm getting a sense that not only are our heroes and all these other people from our world are being incentivized as much as possible to kill and to entertain these watchers of whoever they are,
Right.
but also the same goes for I guess the bad people in the book, in the world themselves, in the dungeon themselves. They have some sort of, I guess, humanity, for lack of a better word, and they also have loved ones that they're
Right.
fighting for.
Yeah,
And so it's not like, again, coming from a limited video game background, as a person playing a video game, I'm just shooting these things, I'm killing things. But I'm seeing little hints that these things are built into this dungeon, this world. They have a desire to get out or to advance as
yeah,
well, and that's what's making it more interesting to me.
Right.
yeah. When the goblins were talking about this, that scene where they say, the harder we fight, the more we kill. They'll move
Yeah,
us up floors till eventually we reach a floor where the humans don't even make it up there because it's so hard.
Right.
And
yeah,
that's when we'll live, we'll prosper, and but they're also everyone in the game is, they know they're in a game. That when the goblin mentions that, when the floor ends, it doesn't really end for them. They're kind of just frozen, like they're
yeah.
paused, and then they unpause on a whole new planet with a whole new group of people,
Yep.
or
And
not
they
people.
seem to have the ability to just go along with the game. You're going to see that thing in another section, right?
Yeah,
Because they are so sort of morphed into the next level. So I don't know if they have their endangered servants or what, but they're
right.
definitely. And getting back to Princess Donut, there's sort of like a little loss of innocence. She's this tough little gal.
Yeah.
She's smart. She has charisma, but and we kind of talked about this a little bit off air. She seems to think that B, her owner, or the Carl's ex girlfriend, is out there waiting for them
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah,
They're gonna
Oh, she
and
had it
Carl,
hadn't even crossed her mind that she's dead.
yeah. And to me, that's like a little loss of innocence because I'm thinking kind of like Carl. She's dead. She's gone.
see,
You're
but like
shacked up with some guy and they're dead.
that's what bothers me a little bit because it's almost like we're anticipating as the reader this family reunion that we think is going to happen when Carl finds B and the cat's back, but she's a horrible person. Like in reality of it, it's kind of like you're like, well, I hope she's dead. Like,
right?
like everything we know about B,
Right.
sounds like a horrible person. She doesn't sound like it, like someone that like we hope is alive and we kindle this, long love. And so I thought that was entertaining. But something I wanted to touch on was in the very, very beginning of the book, it says that the aliens revealed themselves to the most powerful nation at the time, letting them know that if I think exactly the wording, they didn't agree to something or something like that. They were going to do this, and thousands of years later. What do you guys think about that?
Well, there you go. Lizard people, Illuminati, all those things start to.
I think it's a twist on Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And,
yeah.
If it's been in the planning offices over here in this other galaxy for 5,000 years, it's your fault you didn't go look it up. I mean, basically the same thing,
I'll go with that's a great analysis of that. We've told you a long time ago. It's not our fault that you're not.
You guys didn't read the fine print.
Exactly.
Right.
So
it's a tool to get them to where they needed to be in the story.
Yeah.
Kevin says hi to everyone. Hi to everyone is here today.
Hey, Kenneth.
What's up, Kenneth?
Hey, Bird. How you doing, brother? But man, so so Carl, let's kind of I'm rooting that he gets pants, and eventually, because every time we start a new chapter, I'm thinking this is where he's going to pick up some boots, some jeans, or something. He actually finds pants, right? He looted pants, but they're women's pants.
Yes,
and they're too short. So he can't. But he does get this toe ring.
Yes,
right. And he says his feet are becoming, I guess, in lack of words, more callous, less sensitive to his. So I mean, I'm thinking as I'm reading, there's no way I could go through this, even the first level, barefoot, right?
Yeah.
It's just it irks me, but this guy is doing major battle.
Yeah, big battle.
Boxers, because for everybody that hasn't read it, he's inside smoking a cigarette. The cat jumps out. It's extremely cold, right? I believe it's snowing outside. And this cat is a prize cat, like Kevin mentioned. This is a prize pampered cat. And he's like, oh shit, if I don't go get that cat, when B gets home, right, she's going to kill me because this cat went outside and got dirty or whatever. And that's how he's stuck. He said the only thing he did was squeeze into these pink Crocs, put on his jacket.
I can relate to this, because, as a dog owner, there's been times my dog kind of claws me. He's letting me know he's got to go to the bathroom. It's 3 a.m. It's freezing out. You go outside. You're not bundling up and doing the whole thing. You're like, we'll just take you to, do your business and go back up. And it's cold. So I can imagine just, bam. You're like, holy crap.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm hoping soon that Kevin Carl gets some kind of protection, but he's leveling up. He's got this cloak. He's leveling up. So it's like, pants be damned. I'm still doing this. Yeah. And like you said, he's sort of getting more and more desensitized. But that when they killed those babies without him knowing there were babies there, that hit him. Just like it would hit the reader in a sense. But you got to go on. There's got to be something. So now my mind wonders, will we see a battle between Princess Donut and Carl? Will there be some, where's this going? That's the
I was just going to say, we're at the 45-minute mark here. What do you guys think? What's your predictions so far from the book? I think it would be kind of cool to predict what we think is going to happen. And then when we finish it, we're going to be like, oh, really thought it was going to go this way.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. I really don't know where it's headed right now.
I agree.
How it's going to, end with with their knowing that there are sequels.
Yes,
and that it keeps going.
it's a lot of sequels.
Seems like if
Really?
the dungeon ends, then the story ends, and I don't see where there's space for sequels. So it's kind of like, so I guess they just keep going in the dungeon. Uh, uh,
I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited to see how the book plays out. Um, I now that I'm really into it, I wanted to see people's reviews. People are loving the sequels. Um, you would almost think that something like this could get very monotonous very quickly,
yeah,
Mm.
of someone just running up levels and killing a monster, gaining an item, killing a monster, gaining an item. But it it plays out fantastically.
yeah,
Yeah.
Um,
And yeah, I'll vouch for that 100%. There's times where I have to stop. I said, okay, I've got to go to work. I've got to actually make money
right?
to
right.
get paid,
Yeah, I got to force myself to put it down.
or I've got to
Yeah,
get some sleep sometime. Um, but getting back to what my prediction, I'm thinking there will be alliances. There will be those alliances. Maybe will lead to some sort of breaking of the status quo, breaking of the norm, and it'll cause more chaos in this world because right now, as we know it, oh, and we forgot to mention these people that are watching all this happen on a game show. We don't know where they're from. We just know that they're on a TV show. They finally realize, or they're told, you're on a television show, and it's important for you to kill. It's important for you to gain followers
Right.
yeah.
because with followers you get these patrons, these benefactors, and that
Sponsor box.
enhances your ability to survive and get what you want. But I don't think there will ever be an end to this. I think it's enjoyment on whoever these things are watching, because we understand that it's some sort of corporation, and it's almost
Yeah,
like the Olympics. This
yes,
Yeah.
corporation, this is their season to host this crazy show, and it's been done before, so there might be an end. But I'm thinking that somewhere down the line, things are going to be discovered without these people wanting it to be discovered, and that it'll cause chaos. And who
yeah.
knows, maybe how many sequels are to this thing? I didn't know that.
I think there's six.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
what I was thinking. Total of
Nice. All right.
6, maybe 7.
Yeah, the six right now, and he's working on the total of 7 books.
Yeah.
Awesome. Wow.
Yeah, the seventh they say is going to be 722 pages.
Yeah.
Wow.
And maybe Mordecai has something that he really, really knows. He's holding on to, or that something will happen, something will change
Yeah,
because
I agree. I think Mordecai knows way more
yeah,
than he's explaining.
Yeah.
yeah,
Because the whole point of the dungeon is to win, is to get your planet back. And Mordecai sounds very educated. It sounds like he played it very well. Um,
right.
but at a certain point, he even tells Carl, he's like, "Listen, I'm not supposed to really say this, but at a
Mhm.
certain point, just you did good, you made it. Like just kind of cut off from there."
Yeah,
And then it sounds like you joined the company. So the company that like ruined your whole life, took away everyone you knew from, everyone in your life, destroyed your whole planet. You joined them, like you're there. You're now, they're your employer.
yeah.
So
Right.
it's
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 interesting
interesting.
to see that. And do you think he'll ever, I don't know, defeat the aliens and get revenge for what they've done to the universe?
I hope so.
Yeah.
Um, but it also sounds like if the aliens were able to do all of this, they sound way more powerful
They
Oh
can
than
yeah.
still be beat,
yeah.
We're gonna find some
particularly in a book of
Death.
fiction. It makes
Yeah.
me think of Battlefield Earth, the book, not the movie. God,
Yeah.
it's a horrible movie. But the book was fantastic. And of course,
Yeah.
that's what he does. He defeats an alien race that's so much more powerful than us, you'd think there's no way they could ever be defeated.
True. I'm just so amazed how much we have to talk about just 150 pages in. Like, we're definitely missing like a ton of stuff. There was so many things that happened.
Yeah.
But there's so many pop culture references.
Yeah.
Right.
And we're only this far in. So they're obviously pulling from all these things. The writer is pulling from so many things. So it's literally limitless at this point of what we're in for as we go through this book.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it. Anything else you guys wanted to add? I think I pretty much just excited to keep reading. Get past chapter 20.
And I want to say thank you guys for recommending this book.
Oh,
yeah.
I started reading and I was like, but then boom, I was like, wow.
That's all I was, yeah.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
If it wasn't freezing and life or death, would you enter the dungeon?
Would I myself enter the dungeon?
Yeah.
I think I'm a too curious of a person. So I say I would.
What about
you?
I
also would be too afraid because if everything evaporated or crushed on Earth, I would think, is it going to happen again?
Yeah.
No.
They also said they're mining the Earth for resources. So what is I don't think they're coming out there with sickles and a jackhammer. They could be lifting giant pieces of Earth out.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I think you're safer in the dungeon.
Yeah, I think fight or flight would have immediately kicked in. I'm going to fight, and if I'm looking around me and I know I've read so many comics that tell me there's nothing here, go. I'm going to go just to find my curiosity or my willingness or my wanting to survive is obviously not up here. I just saw my landlord's head.
Yeah, right.
Her head out the windows, yelling at me, and the next thing you know, it's plopped on the floor, rolling almost to my feet. I'm like, oh, this is not good. Building's just crushed. I cannot battle that. Right? My comic book stores are now destroyed. There's nothing there for me. I need to get down here and have some chance of survival.
Yeah.
I
guess
I think I would.
You would?
Oh yeah. I'd like to think I would. Yeah. There's no way to know for sure unless it's in that situation. But like you said, I mean, what would be the point of staying where you're at? There's nothing there. Yeah.
Unfortunately,
saw.
I think about it. I'm a homebody, so at that time of night, I'm in the house.
Yeah, right.
I'm gone.
If we're talking real, I'm inside.
Yep.
I'm watching YouTube or I'm reading.
But dead. You had that cat.
Yeah.
But like
now
Ian
the second part of that, how far would you make it?
Ooh.
Would you have made it to page 150? Yeah, I don't think I probably would have either.
I would have had a hard time navigating. Yeah. I think I would have had a hard time navigating because of my lack of gaming. You guys would have probably went on. I would have easily been defeated by something because I'm still trying to figure out how, like in real life, the few times that I've attempted to play a game like GTA, I'm the guy that can't even pick up the bicycle and get on the bike and take off. Initial rate, so I probably would have been toast.
I think it's different though in real life. I think that kind of situation.
I picked up a console controller. I stared at the sky and spun in circles for about 5 minutes. I'm like, I've got to move with this bastard. Where's my
give me an old school Atari. I think I might be able to do something. But other than that, But I think I would have had some sort of sense to figure things out as I go. Yeah. Definitely.
I was thinking about something when I was reading it, speaking about being outside. Obviously it's nighttime for Carl when he went out. Mm-hmm. But this happened all across the Earth. So it's not nighttime everywhere.
Right.
There's some planets that it was,
outside And he mentions in the book that a lot of the ones that they showed on the game when
he was
the
eating.
episode were from India and Africa,
Mhm.
where it would have been daytime.
Yeah.
So the writer Matt Dinniman, he really paid attention to every little detail.
Oh,
It seems
definitely.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what connect if you're from a desolate part of the world, really, how much gaming experience do you have? You
right.
know, and is everything on a level par of your? Because it seems like a lot of these these upgrades and things like that, their surroundings are catered to that character's,
Yeah.
everyday world in a sense.
Right.
So, right, if I'm growing up in Nepal where no access to this, that, and the other, what is that looking like for those characters? So it's
Right.
fascinating to see what's going to come down the road.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, for all we know, I mean, think about it. It would even be interesting to read, like if the second book was from a totally different person's point of view.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely.
That would be interesting of its own, just to see how it went down for someone else. What was someone else's mourning, or where were they when it happened?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, that'll be interesting if we get to find that out. It might be a sequel or so, but I bet you they touch on that.
Definitely. But so far, it's a 10 out of 10 for me. I'm excited to see where it goes.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
And I definitely, after reading where I'm up to, I definitely got some pineapples in the house, because if anything happens, pineapple on a stick.
Yeah.
I'm right away.
The goblin.
I've got boots in every room, so just to make sure I've got boots.
Boots and pants. The stream is sponsored by Levi's.
There you go.
Right. So next week we'll get on up to page 300, or whatever chapter ends right after that page count. I can't look because I'm on the Kindle.
Same here.
You guys are Kindle readers?
Not normally.
Yeah.
I try to buy, as you can see, all the books in my room. I try to buy hardcovers, but when I tried to order this, it was like, it'll be, it wasn't going to show up till the 25th.
Okay. So we're going to read up to chapter 35. It's $2.95 for everyone watching and for us.
All right. Chapter 35.
I'm
and Mike, thanks so much for joining us. We hope you can make it next week as well.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm doing the Kindle because the time frame said, and I had the offer to rejoin the Kindle Unlimited for 99 cents.
Huh.
Yeah, I'll pick this book up for less than or for $1, right?
Yeah, you can't go wrong with that.
Or a physical copy myself. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Kindle always there to do those previews or even make it more accessible right then and there. So
yeah. I was able to read sometimes this week when I wouldn't normally have had the book with me.
Yeah.
It's like,
that's actually one
here 10 minutes, so I might as well read a little. All right, everybody.
Guys, thanks for watching. We appreciate you all tuning in.
Thanks, everybody, for watching.
Peace out.
Get the book. Go read it. It's fun.
You can catch up.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. I lost the. Oh, well.
We'll just go forever. That's fine. Let's go start reading.
All right. Goodbye, everybody.
Guess we'll see you around.
All right. Check you later.